Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Aliyah. I'm a graphic designer who specializes in branding design, and today we're going to be redesigning a random Canva logo, and we're going in with zero prepping, zero planning, and zero ideas ahead, just like we did in the last video, and we're going to be turning into something actually brand worthy. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So first I'm going to go in Canva and then scroll with my eyes closed, and then whatever I land on is the logo I'm going to recreate. Okay, so we got a clothing brand named Virus. It's Virus Apparel since 2023, blah, 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 blah. Since we know nothing about the brand and we want to go off of something, so I'm going to ask ChatGPT to create a brand brief based on this logo that we're getting here from Canva, just so we get more ideas on what we're going towards and what direction we want to go in. So let's go ahead and I'm going to save this and then put it into ChatGPT and ask it to give us a brand brief. Okay, so let's put this into ChatGPT and ask it to give us a brand brief or tell us about this brand based on this logo.
Okay, let's see what ChatGPT says. So the brand name, Virus Apparel, just like we know. Tagline, Apparel since 2023, we know that's not the tagline. So Virus Apparel gives off a bold, edgy, rebellious, and underground vibe. The glitchy, distorted text effects in the logo suggest disruption, digital rebellion, and a challenge to norms, making the brand feel modern and tech-inspired, likely appealing to youth and alternative subcultures. So the target audience that it's giving us is Gen Z and young millennials, streetwear enthusiasts, fans of cyberpunk, gaming, and tech aesthetics, individuals drawn to bold, statement-making fashion. Okay. So brand values, disruption, breaking the mold of conventional fashion, identity, helping people express their individuality, edge, pushing the boundaries between digital and physical style.
Okay, I think this is going to be fun. Something I don't normally do, but I love creating brands that are super bold. So let's just jump right in. I'm going to do the normal thing I do. I'm just going to go on to Adobe Illustrator and copy and paste the name a bunch of times so we can find the logos that stand out the most to us and put them aside. Now that we have a bunch of them copy and pasted, we're going to go look into Envato Elements and look at their font selection and look for something that's bold. Let's go to their font section. I categorized it by sans serif so we can find something that's more minimal and bold and not so decorative or too much going on. Oh, this moonwalk one is pretty cool, so I'm going to download that. So we got moonwalk, Roma is pretty nice too. I really like bold, thick fonts like this one over here. I'm going to go ahead and download that. I like using bold, thick fonts, especially when they're super simple, because you can easily manipulate them, or if you want something else to stand out with that, I think it's really good. So I'm just going to go ahead and speed up the process of just picking out some fonts and then putting them into Adobe Illustrator just so you guys can see what I chose. So I have these fonts so far, but what I want to do is I want to see what they look like in capital letters if they're not in them already. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the ones that are not in caps now beside them. Okay, so I put aside the fonts that I like most so far. I really like that they're all really bold and minimal because I want to focus on the actual designs that will pop out and make the brand stand out rather than the logo mark itself or their brand name. So I really like these. I really like this one here, how the R is. It's very different, and I feel like we can play around with it or even just leave it how it is. I think it looks great. And it also comes with an outline version. If you guys want to use this font, it is called New York, and it is on Envato Elements. There's many ways to use this one, so I really like it. So it's called Creed or Treed. I'm not really sure, but here's my idea with this. So if you guys are familiar with Paula Shear, she did this branding for, I think it was The Public, and she made each of the letters within the typeface go from smaller to bigger in thickness, or the other way around. But anyway, I really like that idea and how she did it because I like the meaning behind it and how it's like it includes everyone. It's all about inclusivity. So I'm going to try that out here, and this font lets you do it perfectly. So I think I'm going to go from thick to thin. So here I just started playing around with the weight variation across the letters. One version goes from thick to thin and the other goes from thin to thick. This was all truly inspired by Paula Shear's approach to contrast and rhythm. And in the end, I actually like the one that went from thick to thin. I think it just gives more dynamic feel and also gave the logo a bold to sleek progression that fits the energy of the brand. So I do like that idea. I think I'm gonna put that aside. And again, put it aside again. I'm very indecisive when it comes to font choosing. It takes me forever. I literally try everything until something truly catches my eye, and then I run with that. Okay, I do like these R's. But if we end up going with this, I would like to go with something that is italic for the word apparel when we do include it. So let's see how that would look in here. Apparel. And if we were to drop that in and center them, I think that does look cool, but I think the apparel part is a little bit too thick. It's clashing with the actual logo name, and we do not want it to do that, of course. Okay, so I played around more with the apparel part, and I also added in the 2023, like in the original logo, original Canva logo. So let's see. I do like this one. I feel like it's giving like an illusion where like the apparel part, it's giving like different perspective. I think we're gonna run with that one and play around more with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate it and put it on its own. I really like that for like the primary logo. So I know it's like a streetwear brand and it's more edgy, but I know what's trending right now is this like kind of star with like this, like the star orbiting around a brand logo or name. And I think I want to give that a shot with this logo and see how it looks. It's very in trend right now, especially among like younger people right now. Like I say, like teens, especially teen boys. But let's go ahead and give that a try and see if that works with this. So I went ahead and found an example of what I was talking about, just in case anyone doesn't know. So it's basically like here, it's like a star or like these sparkles orbiting around the logo itself or the brand mark or logo mark, whatever they choose. But basically it's this design right here. It's super trendy. And I think it's actually been trending for a couple of years now, especially like I said, like among really young people, especially like men or young teenage boys. So I'm trying to go ahead and see how that would look with that kind of same concept mixed in there. I'm going to go ahead and add in some sparkles. So the way I do it is by using a shape tool. I think I'm going to try it with the oval tool first. And then you're going to go into effect and then distort and transform. And then it would be under pucker and bloat. And then you're just going to play around with that and see if it's what you're looking for. See like that? It just gives like a perfect sparkle, or you can do so many different shapes with it. I'm going to go for a more narrow one. I think that one's pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate that. And I do like to design my logos always in black and white first, just to make sure everything is legible and everything makes sense, because you know when it works in black and white that it will work in any color. And I think using colors at the beginning really makes you feel overwhelmed because you're trying to make it go with the color and not really focusing on the actual logo and what matters. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to fit this in to where I see fit. I kind of do like it like that. See how they put like different kinds of sparkles? I like that, but I think I'm only going to include like the same kind, just in different sizing or scales. I really like here how it kind of goes with the curve of the S, so it looks like it fits in perfectly. I might just move it down a little bit more just so it's intersecting in like the middle. Okay, I kind of really like this idea. I actually have never designed something along these kind of lines before, so I'm actually super excited for how this is going to turn out. I really like this one here. And I did end up putting the font for the virus in an outlined one. I just added stroke and removed the fill, but I think that might look even cooler with this concept over here. So let's go ahead and try that actually. Okay, see, like that looks good as well. I don't think it works when virus is filled in and the sparkles are outlined. I don't think that looks good in my eyes, but let me know what you guys think and comment below what you guys would have done different in this part of the process. I'm just going to go ahead and do some touch-ups on this part here. I don't really like how the line is showing in between the S, and I don't like how it's showing in between the V. So I finished with a logo mark, and I think it's pretty good. It's what I was actually going for, and I think it looks even better than the original thing that we started with for the actual primary logo mark. But so what I did here is I did one with a stroke with like a 3D effect, but also keeping it like 2D. And I think it looks really cool. And then I also did it the same with just the normal V. And I really wanted the V to be bold and very recognizable. And I want this brand to be known. So the oversized B makes it very like eye-catching and memorable, and I think that's really important to have, especially with streetwear brands, because the competition out there for streetwear is crazy. So you really want to stand out. Overall, I think I actually like this logo mark. Let me know what you guys think, but I think it does strike a nice balance between clean design and attitude with that trendy feel, making it a solid symbol that works across like all kinds of platforms and even products. Just put this logo on the back of a hoodie or on the front, and like it'll be super recognizable for the brand, which is super good. So I think we're gonna go ahead with that logo mark. So I just went ahead and searched bold color palettes on Pinterest. I'm gonna go ahead and just copy and paste the images of the color palettes that I think we can use some of their colors to throw together our own color palette. It'd be a really cool idea to just use the primary colors. I think that actually might be what we're going for. That just came to my head, but let's roll with it. I think that's going to be a really cool concept. So I'm just going to actually search primary color palettes. I want it to be bold, so actually let me go ahead and throw in the word bold and see if it gives us what we're looking for. I actually like right here. I think it includes the exact shades of the primary colors that I want to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this and paste it right into Illustrator so we can color drop. I'm going to make 5 of them because I'm going to do 3 of those, which is going to be 1 blue, 1 green, and 1 yellow. And then we're going to keep a black and a white. I think I'm going to go for a deeper one, maybe off the pants here. Yeah, perfect. And then we're going to go for the red, bright red, and the yellow as well. I want to play around and see if we can get a little bit of a darker shade of red in here. Yeah, perfect. I just took it from the shadow off of the woman's shirt. And then the black, I don't want it to be the 000, like full black. I want it to be just above that, so it's like an off black. Okay, I think that's perfect. So it's 19, 19, 19. And then for the white, we're going to do the same thing. I don't want the FFFF. I want it just like an off-white. So slightly gray. There we go. I think that's the perfect color palette. I don't know how it came to my head. And I've actually never created a brand or anything just using the primary colors. So hopefully it works. I think it will. Let's go ahead and apply all these colors to the logo variations we made. Okay, so here are all the logo variations using the color palette, and I think it looks really good. I'm really glad that we decided to go with the primary colors. I think it looks super good, and it makes the brand like stand out like just perfectly enough. And I think all these colors work together. The only one that's like not completely legible, it kind of like plays with your eyes, is the blue on red. And I'm really liking this so far. So now I'm going to go ahead and look for some mock-ups and see how we can mock this up. And let's see this brand come to life.
For the first mockup, I found this really cool graphic template on Envato Elements. It features a car filled with packaging boxes, and it instantly matched the vibe I imagined for the Virus brand. I opened it up in Photoshop to check the dimensions before designing, just to make sure everything would line up properly. This one was a bit different since all the box faces were combined into one layer, so I dropped the logo mark on the front, added in the tagline, which is "Made to Disrupt, Street Bred, Chaos Fed" on the side, and placed a secondary logo on the last panel. I also created one variation for the second box just to add a bit of contrast. And since the mockup included a customizable license plate, I threw the main logo on there too just to tie it all together. For the second mockup, I found some blank clothing photo shoot shots on Pinterest and brought them into Adobe Illustrator after removing the backgrounds. I placed them so the guy in the black hoodie is centered. I wanted him to stand out the most. The two figures on the sides are actually the same photo, but I flipped one horizontally to create a more balanced and cohesive layout. On the center hoodie, I used the primary logo and applied it using Illustrator's Create a Mockup tool, adjusting the transparency just to make it look more clean and natural. For the guy on the left, I combined the logo mark with the tagline as a custom graphic for his t-shirt. And for the guy on the right, I used a variation of the primary logo to switch it up a bit. I also brought in the orbiting stars from the brand visuals, first adding a blurred version behind the figures to create a soft shadow-like effect, and then layering the normal version on top to add more depth and visual interest. To finish it all off, I added the off-white color from the color palette to the background, and then used a subtle texture just to tie it all together. So for this other mockup, I wanted to design a clothing tag that felt on brand for Virus. I found this template on Envato Elements, which honestly makes it so easy to find high quality mockups and just speed up the process. So I used the same design from one of the t-shirts that we used, the logo mark, tagline, and the Apparel 2023, and I adjusted the fitting to fit better onto the tag. Then I added the primary logo to the smaller flap and used the full logo mark with the orbiting stars on the mini tag along with the placeholder QR code. And just to wrap it all up, I changed the colors to match the brand palette using the off-white and black combination. After going through the whole design process, here are the final results. The finished mockups to bring the Virus brand to life. You can really see how everything ties together across packaging, apparel, and visuals. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment below and tell me your favorite part or which mockup stood out to you the most. Now, onto the branding. The primary logo uses a bold, heavyweight typeface with varying widths across each letter. It creates motion, individuality, and even reflects inclusivity. Everyone's different, but it all works together as one system, just like the logo. The orbiting stars add that glitchy, futuristic vibe that fits the name Virus, something built to disrupt. Compared to the Canva logo I started with, this redesign actually feels intentional, structured, and brand-worthy. As for the color palette, I went with the primary colors to keep it bold and raw, plus an off-white and off-black to soften the contrast and add depth. It's now a full brand identity, not just a logo.
This was honestly such a fun project, and I think that's because it was designing in a way that I haven't before. I've never really used this type of style or concept before when designing a logo or a brand, but I really enjoyed it, and that's the best part that comes out of doing passion projects. As a designer, you get to learn what you like and what your personal style is, and just experimenting is the best way to learn, first of all. It's also great because it can be something you use for your portfolio or just make content out of it, just like I'm doing right now. But I really enjoyed making this logo, and I think it has a lot more personality and character compared to the original Canva logo, where the Canva logo was lacking a lot of things. Other than that, guys, I'm super curious to hear what you guys think. Did you guys prefer the original Canva logo, or do you prefer the one that I redesigned? And drop all your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read them all. And if you guys have any suggestions for any videos that I should do next, please let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.